Chris, as someone that specializes in directors and officers insurance placement for your clients, what are the D&O insurers now asking about the role that directors are playing in risk management oversight as a result of these recent bank failures?
Yeah, Francis, and I saw there was a chat question that already came up about what is D&O, and maybe I can take a step back. Yeah, you're right, D&O insurance, and that's why I'm on the panel, and that's what we help our clients procure. And if you think about the major bank failures, and it's more than SVB, right? It's SVB, it's Signature Bank, it's First Republic. All of those banks are now facing class action securities litigation, so D&O litigation. SVB in particular is facing derivative litigation. It's facing investigations from the SEC, the Department of Justice, state attorneys generals. In fact, their auditor, KPMG, and some of their underwriters, Goldman and Bank of America, are now facing litigation. So, that's part of the reason I think my perspective may be valuable to some is, how does that all work from a bank failure, and then how to underwrite, D&O underwriters view that risk, and what kind of questions are they now asking? If you are a director of a bank, your bank is going to get different questions now as a result of these bank failures. And Francis, the questions are numerous for bank. I really want to talk about two buckets here. It's really the banks and then the non-banks. But if you're a bank director, your organization is going to be asked a lot more about liquidity management and financial agility, having the assets available to act quickly. Questions around industry concentration risk. If you think about SVB, they were, to Mark's point, very heavily concentrated in the VC world, in the venture capital world, and with really smaller, many smaller, bank lines. On the other hand, Signature Bank was very much into the crypto market. So those concentrations of risk are an important thing to try to understand. The investment portfolio makeup, I think we're all pretty aware that, interest rate movement and those banks, reliance on some long-term bonds and a very high concentration of long-term bonds had an impact. So, underwriters are asking about that. Relationships with regulators. Mark touched on that. What is your interaction with regulators? Social media risk. I think we'll probably talk more about social media risk, and at the pace that the run on the bank occurred is something that underwriters want to understand. How are you going to respond if there is a bad day? Board assessment. Does the board have the requisite financial acumen in terms of risk management and trying to make sure that you understand what the risks are? Do you have a chief risk officer? Mark talked about the absence of a chief risk officer at SVB for a long period of time. And then I guess lastly, I would say is there a clear record of discussions about financial risk at the board level? And is there a record of that? That's for banks. Very quickly, for everybody on the phone that's not a director of a bank, there are questions coming there too from a D&O perspective. What are your banking relationships? What is your concentration of risk to any one particular bank? What is your diversification of funding sources? So those are the types of questions we're hearing in the D&O insurance marketplace today.